Ladies and gents, let me introduce you to my new bullet journal. Her name is Harper. We said goodbye to Henry in my last bullet journal video, and we're saying hello to Harper. She's a Scribbles That Matter dotted journal. I'm super excited to be using a different journal, not because I didn't like my Leuchtturm, but just because I wanted to try something different. And if you follow me on Instagram stories, you know a lot of thought and purchases went into this journal decision. Today I am sharing some updated student bullet journal spreads. Student bullet journal spreads are always highly requested on this channel, and I'm always happy to deliver because I love using these spreads myself. I'm starting off with a pretty basic timetable. I say basic because I feel like the layout is pretty traditional. The columns are for the days of the week that I have classes. I only ever have classes from Monday to Friday, but obviously if you have classes on Saturday and Sunday, you can add more columns or maybe do this horizontally on your page rather than vertically. And then on the left side of the page is time slots. So each row is a different time slot from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Each class gets its own color, and I'm blocking off when that class would theoretically be because I'm not actually writing out my actual schedule. This is the only spread that I'm filling out in a fake way because I really think you can only get an idea of how to use it by seeing it filled out. And to take it a step further, what I like to do to be really efficient with my time is not only write in when my classes are, but also schedule in when I'm going to study or do homework for each class. And for those slots, I'm using just a black Micron pen and using different doodle designs to add a little cuteness to the spread. The Micron pen that I'm using is going to be linked in the description box below, as well as all of the other items I use in today's video. I think if you're someone who gets overwhelmed by the workload of university, scheduling in those times to do work for your classes can be really helpful because then you have a plan for attack and you don't have to worry so much about when or how things are going to get done because you have a time in your schedule dedicated to that course. Once again, I'm bringing out my handy dandy circle template. I do really love this thing, and I'm using this to create my master syllabus. It's a very simple one this time around. I essentially am just dividing the circle into 4 parts to represent a different month in my semester: September, October, November, and December. And then from each month, I'm drawing out lines, and each line will represent a future assignment or test. Beside that assignment or test, I'll also write the specific date in which it's supposed to happen or it's due. And when you're actually filling this out yourself, I would highly recommend color coordinating it so that each course has its own color and you can easily see which things belong to which course. A spread that came highly requested when I asked for requests on Instagram stories was an attendance spread. Now, my experience in university, and I think the experience of many in university, is that professors don't keep track of your attendance unless there's some sort of participation mark requirement in your class. Because I'm in 4th year, I do find participation marks count towards quite a significant portion of my grades now. And for that reason, I think it's great to just have a record myself of whether I attended lectures and if I participated in them. Underneath each date, there's a spot to fill that information out. Each course, again, gets its own color, and then you can even add a little check mark if you participated in the course that you attended. So at the end of the semester, there really shouldn't be any surprises in regards to participation marks. One of my favorite spreads to create when I start a new semester is a course outline for each course that I have. So when I start school in September, I will be making this 5 times because that's how many courses I have per semester. And this course outline is a place to keep track of your grades, your homework, your readings. On the left page, there's a slot to keep track of your professor and TA's email, as well as the time and the location of the lecture for that course. below that, on the left side of the page, is also, as I mentioned before, a grade tracker. And then on the right page, there is 13 rows to represent 13 weeks of class. And that is where you would write the homework and readings you have each week for that course. At the bottom right, I had a little space, so I decided to add a little section there for you to write down which weeks you should review. And then there's also a spot for your final grade. Very simple, but a very useful spread. And we proceed onwards to one of my favorite spreads from or in this video, which is my weekly spread. When creating this layout, I really wanted something that could fit a lot of great goodies into it, and I think I accomplished that. Each day of the week has habit trackers for hydration, H, meditation, M, and yoga, Y, as well as a decent amount of space for a to-do list. And below that, for Monday to Friday, the days I need it most, there is a menu planner for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. On the bottom left of the page, there's a section for you to keep track of your study hours, the time you obviously spend studying or doing homework. In the box right next to the study log is for you to write acts of self-care that you do throughout the week, because I think to be a productive student, you need to be taking care of yourself first. And on that theme of self-care, there's also on the bottom right page a sleep tracker. Surprise! For those of you who like more of a daily planner layout, I've got a daily spread for you. This is a spread that just gives you a little bit more space to write down events and to-do items. Like the weekly spread, there's also a section for you to write how many hours you slept the night before, how many hours you spent studying, a spot for keeping track of habits, a section for menu planning. Something unique to this spread though is the bottom, where you can write at the beginning of your day something you're grateful for, and at the end of the day something awesome that happened. It's an opportunity to start and end your day with positivity, which is not always easy during the school year when you feel weighed down by just school and work and any other things that are going on with your life. Last but not least is a project planner spread. Now this is a spread that can just as easily be used as a study planner for a test or an exam. The top of the page is where you figure out the timeline of how you're going to get things done. So for a project, you would be figuring out how many days each stage of your project is going to take to complete. For an exam planner, you would probably just divide this timeline into what topics you have to cover before the test, midterm, exam. Assign numbers to each step or topic, and then below that is where for each, again, step or topic, you would write out specific dates that you need to have things completed by and more thorough instructions about what needs to get done. And that's it for today's student bullet journal video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Harper and I had a fun time putting this together, so give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you haven't already. We're getting so close to 100K. I can't believe it. It's blowing my mind. Let me know in the comment section down below which spread was your favorite and which you are planning to incorporate into your journal. I will see you all very soon with a new video, and until then, bye guys.